Okay, so we'll start the session now. Okay, so previously you might have gone through this prep one part one, right? Capstone project prep one part one. Now today we are going to take this session on this prep one part two. Okay, so as you already know, prep one consists of three parts, right? Previously you have gone through prep one part one, and now we will be going through this prep one part two. Okay. So whenever you are going with the case study, first you need to understand what is this case study. Okay. So first thing you need to do is you need to decode the case study, whatever whatever the project or case study that you will get. First you need to decode it. Okay. Understanding of that particular case study is very important. Then only you can able to answer in that context, right? So first you will be going through the case study. Okay. So here, Mr. Anthony, a prosperous NRI, had the idea to develop a website devoted to fashion with a focus on high-end apparel and accessories. Okay, so here the project is mainly on this fashion thing, right? So you want to develop a website where you want to sell those apparel, accessories, and all those things. Okay, so he has collaborated with Mr. Bhaskar, Kathy, Dominic. Okay, so the main agenda of this website should be easy to navigate, and it should have a contemporary look, and it should process those payments quickly. Okay, so these are the main features of any website, right? So you want to make sure these features should be available in their website so that user interaction can be more. Okay, so upon looking at these papers, Mr. Anthony has understood that Miss Kathy has already had a similar application as the sales are drastically declining. Okay, so Mr. Anthony has taken the duty to improving this application. Okay, so before initiating, he saw that Mr. Anthony like Mr. Kathy has a similar application, like same thing, fashion related website is already there, but their sales have been drastically decreasing. Means there is no sales of particular say, accessories or apparel. Okay, so at this point, Mr. Anthony has decided that to modify that website to where he will be including these features like easy to navigate, contemporary process those payments quickly are there, right? So we will be including those features in the existing website itself. Okay. For this project, he has allocated some 18 months and 1 crore as a budget. Okay. So you can see the current problems that are being faced by Miss Kathy's website also. Like there is no knowledge of this particular fashion of the customers, and customer reach is also not there. When there is no customer reach, then revenue cannot be happening, right? So these are the problems that Kathy has been facing with that website. Okay, so Mr. Anthony has took this responsibility to solve these current problems and develop a particular website. Okay, so this is the main case study or the background of this case study. Okay, so similarly, you need to also understand the case study that what you have get. Okay, okay. So here the team has been there, like Mr. Anthony's company is it is like Nova Corp on-site team. So he has these team members, and Mr. Anthony has given this project to outside a company called this Adino Offshore Team. So these are the team members under those team on that company. Okay. So in this all the things you will be acting like a business analyst. Okay. So you should think you as a business analyst and solve all the questions that you get. Okay. In the context of this case study, you are acting as a business analyst. So as a business analyst, what you are going to do, you need to answer in the questions that you get. Okay. So as I told you, first you need to decode the case study. What is the main idea of the project, and what are the features that you are going to add, and what is this project about related to fashion, right? So where it is like a website of containing those apparel and accessories related to fashion. So where customers can see and buy those accessories or apparel based on your website, right? So this is the main overview, and what are the problems that are being faced previously and what you are going to solve. Okay, so just basic idea of the case study you need to know. Okay, Once you are done with this, here comes the first question. Okay. The first question is about you need to create uh, quarterly audits for this project. Okay. So first, basically, an audit is just like tracking the progress or just checking the progress of whatever the things that you have done. Okay. For each quarter, you can create an audit. Depends upon the company, but and generally, for each quarter, you can create an audit. So, okay. So for here, for each phase, you are following this waterfall concept in this case study, right? In this prep one. So in this prep one, there are stages like requirement gathering, requirement analysis, design, developing, testing, right? So for all these phases, you can create a particular audit where you will be checking whatever the things that you have done on that particular stage. Okay. For example, if you take this requirement gathering phase, so in that phase you have done, like the duration is between week 1 to week 10. Okay. Okay, I'll be addressing those doubts in the last. Okay, first I'll just explain all the things, then I'll be addressing your doubts. Okay. Okay. So similarly, you need to create those audits. So basically, an audit will be consisting of this checklist. Okay. So whatever what the duration of a particular phase that you have done, and what are the things that you have done, like the checklist. Like in this requirement gathering phase, you will be creating those BRDs, templates, whatever the requirements that we have gathered, we should be documenting it. And also to gather those requirements, we might have conducted those elicitation techniques, right? So those report you can make. Okay. And also if at all any functionalities, the functional requirements, etc., all they will be making it, right? So you can do this in requirement gathering. And also whatever the document that you have prepared, you should take this sign off from the particular client, right? All these things will be coming like you have done under this phase, so you'll be creating in this audit report. Okay. Okay, so it is better that you prepare in this format because these are the guidelines that you need to, like, these are the checklists that you need to do, right? So it is better if you prepare it like this, or if you have your own way, you can also prepare that. Okay, but just the concept you need to know, whatever things that you are doing in an audit report. Okay, and also similarly after the requirement gathering phase, requirement analysis is there, right? So in that phase, what you will be going to do, what is the duration that you have spent on this particular phase, and here what are the checklists that you will be coming. Like in this analysis phase, you will be drawing the UML diagrams of a requirements that you got so that everyone can understand. You will be visually representing it. Okay. And also whatever the requirements that we have got, we will be categorizing as functional and non-functional requirement. And whatever the documents there you will be preparing in this BRD, right? So here also whatever the requirements that you got, like SRS document, you'll be taking those client sign-offs, and also to communicate with the stakeholders, we'll be using this emails or anything. At every stage, you will be maintaining this RTM. Okay, so RTM is nothing but requirement traceability matrix. You might have gone through in the theory sessions, right? So where requirements will be tracked, what is the status of that particular requirement? Okay, so those all will be done in this particular phase, like requirement analysis phase. Okay. So similarly, you need to prepare like 5 audit reports for this project. Okay. Similarly, whatever the question you get, like you need to prepare some 4 or 5 audit reports, right? So based on that, you can combine few phases and prepare those 4 audits. Okay. You can use this template, or else you can use this as you can use on your own also. Okay. Basic thing is like concept you need to know what are the things that you will be including and all. Okay. So similarly, you need to draw or like create those audit reports like in this. Okay. So when it comes to the second question, here you will be writing about your approach as a BA or strategies that you will be creating. Okay. So the question is all about in the overall project. This is like you'll be following this waterfall, right? So in this overall waterfall thing, what is your approach as a BA? What strategies you will be making in each step from starting to the ending? Okay, so those all things you need to include in this particular answer. Okay, for sample purpose, in this project, first you need to, as a BA, first you need to gather the requirements, right? So to gather those requirements, we will be conducting the solicitation techniques. Okay, so elicitation techniques is nothing but it is a type of an interaction with the stakeholder. Okay, so that we can gather the requirements. So there are various elicitation techniques like brainstorming, document analysis, reverse engineering, etc. Okay, so I'll be discussing those in the further slides. Okay, so the main agenda of the solution techniques is like you will with the help of those interactions, you will be taking those requirements. Okay, first you need to know which solution techniques you will be using. Okay, then whatever the you will be using the solution techniques with the stakeholders, right? The second step will be like you need to identify which stakeholders will align to this particular project. Okay, so to do those stakeholder analysis, you will be using this RACA matrix. I think you might have gone through in the prep one, part one, right? About this RACA matrix. Okay. So responsible, accountable, consultant, and informed. Okay. So where you will be categorizing the stakeholders based on the responsibility, like whether you will be belongs to this responsible or accountable or consulted or informed. Okay. So based on this, you will be analyzing the stakeholders. Okay. And then whatever the requirements that you will be gathering, you need to document it. Okay, so for further use, whenever you want to, if at all any new person has been coming, you will be referring those documents and know you'll be knowing about the project, right? So that is the main purpose. You need to create those BRD, FRD, SIS document. And also if you are preparing those use case documentation, when you go for the testing, test case documents. Okay, all the things that are related to the particular phase will be documented so that it can be helpful for the further use. Okay, and then whatever the documents that you will be preparing, right, those documents need to be signed off. Okay, signed off in the sense it should get an approval from those particular authority people. It can be from the stakeholder or higher board authority or anything. Okay, so for example, if you take SRS document or BRD document, etc., or all there, right? So you will be mentioning all the requirements, right? So those requirements will be given by the stakeholder itself, right? Or the client. So this whatever the things that we have collected, we need to put on those documents, right? So those documents should be approved. We should get an approval from the client so that we can proceed with the next stage. That is the main process of the sign off of the documents. Okay, we should give an approval that whatever the requirements that are there that are related to this project and all. So then we can go with the next stage. Okay, so to establish those communication with the client and all, we will be using these communication channels like emails or weekly meetings can be conducted so that interaction can be there between the stakeholders and you. Okay, so these are you should mention those communication channels also. Okay, and then once you have got those sign offs, then it will be entering into the development stage. Okay, so the development thing can be processed. Okay, so it will be continuing until the testing will also be there. Okay, so once, if at all any change requests are coming, that means any, if whatever the things that we have developed, there is some change that should be made, that is given by the client. Okay, so you should also handle those change requests in the waterfall. Okay, so change request is nothing but to the existing project only. There are some things you need to change or include. Okay, so those will be considered under this change request. Okay. So to handle those change requests, you need to first like complete a change request form where you will be including all the details about the change request, and then you will be conducting this impact analysis. Impact analysis is nothing but you will be analyzing whether this change request will be aligning with all the budget or time, etc. All will be there, right? So it should align, right? So you will be doing this impact analysis to know about whether it will be suitable for the project or not, and it will be suitable for the budget or not. If at all, if we take this change request, whether it will impact on any budget, time, etc. All these things will be coming under the impact analysis. Okay, and then we should update the documents once approval is done. Okay, so these are the strategies that you will be doing, right? Okay, similarly, you need to write for your answer also. Okay, so whatever the question that you get, you need to do as per your project that you got. Okay, this is just a sample case study. Okay, so whatever the things that we are doing in the particular project, we need to update to the stakeholder side. So you can update it with the meetings that you will be connecting, right, at the time of any phase. Okay, you can update those changes or modifications or progress. Okay, in the form of these reports or anything. Okay. Okay, so at the time of testing, you'll be connecting this UAT testing, right? So you should also take whatever the things that you are doing, you need to make a document. Okay, so for the document, you need to take the sign off. Okay, so these are the strategies or the approach that you will be making as a BA. Okay, similarly, you need to write it for your answer also. Okay, whatever the case study that you will be getting, what is the steps or sequence of steps that you will be following, and at the step, what is your approach or strategy that you are going to do. Okay, so the next question is about three-tier architecture. You need to tell or explain about this three-tier architecture. Okay, so this is just a sample diagram. Okay, so three-tier architecture is nothing but it consists of these three layers. Okay, application layer, business logic layer, and database layer. Okay, so these are the three layers that will be included in the overall project. Okay, so application layer is nothing but these are the major or like user interactions will be there, right, with the user and the project. So those interaction components will be categorized under this application layer. Okay, so for example, if you see any website or anything, you'll be interacting with the website to buy those fashion things, right? So e-commerce website that will be coming under this application layer. Okay, so under this website, you will be the user to interact with the website, you will be creating those pages or any screens, right? So with that screens or pages only, the user will be interacting. Okay, so those will be coming, that will be coming under this application layer. Okay, then the business logic layer, the middle layer, that is that acts like a bridge between this application layer and the database layer. Okay, so here the main logic behind that particular project will be there in this business logic layer. Okay, so if at all any payment, you need to make payment for this website, like to buy any fashionable thing, you need to do the payment, right? The logic behind the payment will be coming under this business logic layer. For example, we can take. Okay, so it will be handled by the payment gateway, right? That can be one example. Okay, and then next the database layer. Okay, database layer is nothing but the main servers or like database where you'll be storing the data of all the project. Okay, here you can use these examples like MySQL, Oracle database, where you'll be storing data that we get from this particular project. Okay, similarly, you need to write about this three-tier architecture. Okay, and then the fourth question, like here you need to write your approach or strategy for framing questions. Okay, so if you want to gather the requirements, you need to ask questions to the stakeholders, right? So set of questions need to be asked so that we can get maximum requirements from few questions. Okay, so there are some techniques you need to follow to ask those questions also. Okay, so the 5W1H is one technique where it will be like it is an abbreviation called like who, what, when, where, why, how. Okay, so using this 5W1H, you can maximum questions can be asked. Okay, so you can use this technique or else the SMART technique. The SMART technique is nothing but specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. According to these aspects, also you can ask those questions. Like specific means there are that should be related to this particular project. Measurable, like that you need to follow these aspects. Okay, so that you can get maximum requirements from few questions. Okay. So RACM matrix also can be helped, like which stakeholder, with which stakeholder we can ask those particular questions. Like stakeholders will be consisting of different domains, different knowledge, right? So when you categorize them under this RACM matrix, it will be helpful for you to ask those questions to a particular stakeholder, right? So it can be helpful in those things. And also when you draw these UML diagrams, unified modeling language, okay? So it is like a diagrammatical representation of the overall system or the project that you're developing. Okay, so it will be giving a brief idea about what your project is, so that everyone can understand. Okay, so because when you give in this technical terms or in a written language, not everyone will be understanding, right? So when you create those in a diagrammatical representation, everyone will be understanding. Okay, that is the main idea of this UML diagram. Okay, similarly, what are the techniques you will be using to ask those questions, and all those things will be coming under this fourth question. Okay, so what is the approach that you are going to follow? You need to write. Okay, and the next fifth question and sixth question is regarding illustration techniques. Okay, so illustration, like I previously said to you, illustration techniques are nothing but these are these can be defined like the interaction with the stakeholder. Okay, so those interactions can be of many types, like there are almost 11 LCA techniques. Okay, brainstorming, document analysis, reverse engineering, focus groups, observation, workshops, chat sessions, and interviews, prototype, questionnaire, and use case specs. Okay, so these are the 11 elicitation techniques. As a BA, these elicitation techniques are very important for you as a BA to know. Okay, not only few specific elicitation techniques, you need to know all 11 elicitation techniques, in which context you'll be using, what are the types that are there in each elicitation techniques. You need to write in this fifth question. Okay, all 11 elicitation techniques you need to write. Okay, and for if you take any example of any when you go in any particular project, you will not be using all 11 illustration techniques in a project, right? So you need to know which in which context you'll be using each illustration technique. Okay, so in the sixth question you need to justify like which illustration techniques you will be using in this particular project. Okay, so not in this particular project, whatever the project or the case study that you will be getting, for that case study, what illustration techniques you will be using, you need to mention, and why you are using those illustration techniques, you need to mention. Okay. So these are the answers that you need to write in the fifth question and sixth question. Okay. Okay. So how many illustration techniques you will be using, it depends upon the project or anything. Okay. So with how many illustration techniques you will be getting maximum or all the requirements, you can conduct as many. Okay. It depends upon the in real life, in when you go into any company, it will be depending upon the project or the company itself. Okay, so or where you understand the context of the case study, what are there, what are not there, and then you can decide which LCS techniques to be used and all. Okay, so this is regarding this fifth and sixth question. Okay, regarding the LCS techniques, you need to know all 11. Okay, and then comes your seventh question, that is regarding this business requirements. You need to write like 10 business requirements that are related to your project. Okay. Business requirements are nothing but these are the main requirements that achieve the functionality in the overall project. Okay. So, for example, if we take this is one sample business requirement that I have created for this case study, like user should be able to reach, like able to search products in the app. So the main thing in this fashion apparel is like the user should be able to search and buy, right? So that is one business requirement. And then user should be able to browse through the product catalog. Through the product catalog only, he will be selecting the product that he want, right? So and also user can be log in so that he can create this login ID and password. That is one requirement. Similarly, for your case study, whatever the requirements that you get, you need to write those 10 business requirements. Okay. So you need to similarly give an ID to that business requirement and give a number. Okay. So you need to write those 10 business requirements. Okay. For your project. And first understand the case study, then you can get some requirements and you can write it down. Okay. And then the eighth question. So eighth question is all about the assumptions that are there or that can be possible in your project. Okay. So assumptions are nothing but uh, these are dependent upon your project. Okay. To achieve those functionality and all, whatever the dependent things like assumptions are there, you can write under these assumptions. Okay, for example, for this particular project, assumption is like, you to log into this application, you can use this Facebook or Google account, right? So it is dependent upon this Facebook and Google. Okay, so this is one assumption, and also internet connectivity should also be there in order to do those payments and all those things. That is one assumption. And also the user should, whenever you want to buy any fashionable thing, he should have that particular knowledge on this fashion, right? Then he cannot judge which product to buy. Okay, that is one assumption. Okay, so the designs thing, fashionable thing is nothing but designs will be, various designs will be there, right? He also has to, he should now get the knowledge of this designs thing, and also, okay, and to do the payments, it is dependent upon accounts and all those things, right? To securely payment to pay for any particular product, you should have an online account. It is also dependent, right? So similarly, whatever the assumptions that you will be getting under your project or your case study, you will be writing under these assumptions. Okay. So the question number 9 is about priority, giving priority to the requirements. Okay. So priority is nothing but giving which requirement to be developed first, so that important requirements will be there, right? The main functionality of the requirement. For example, in this project, mainly uh, browsing those products and doing the payment will be the main requirement, right? So for that, for those requirements, you can give high priority so that they are developed first, and lower requirements can be external requirements will be there, right? So those can be given a priority of low. Okay. So to give this priority, you can use 1 to 9 numbers for the business requirements that you have written, right? So for those requirements, you can give the priority as per your understanding. Okay. Whatever the requirement that you feel are very important, you can give those numbers as per your request. Okay. This is all about giving those priorities. Okay. So now use case diagram. Okay. You need to draw a use case diagram. Use case diagram is nothing but a visual representation where you will be showing how a user is interacting with the system. Okay. So the help of the diagrammatical representation, you will be telling how the overall project will be working. Okay. So this is just a sample thing. There is a like you might have attended this MS Visio tool sessions, right? uh, they have discussed about this use case diagram and activity diagram. You once go through this the video. There they have told you about all the components. What are the components that are there in the use case diagram, like actors and system boundary, use cases and types of use cases, actors and types of actors, and relationships and those types. Whenever you're drawing any particular use case diagram, you need to know the components, right? When you know those components only, then you will be able to use them, like where you need to use, why you need to give this include. So for example, if you take these actors are there, right? They are placed on the left side. These are primary and these are secondary actors. Okay. So these are the use cases. There are types like essential use cases and supporting use cases, and relationships like include, extend, and generalization. So which in which context you'll be using those include, in which context you'll be using this exclude, like extend, and generalization where you will be using. Okay. So once go through this MS Visio tool session. Okay. There they have discussed in deeply how you need to draw those use case diagram and which component where you will be using. Okay. Once you go through this, then you will be getting a clear idea on this use case diagram. Okay. Okay. So the rectangular thing is there, like this diagram is just for a sample purpose to know the components only. It is drawn. Okay. So if you want to know about more about this use case diagram, once go through this MS Visio tool session. Okay. The recorded videos are there in the YouTube channel also. I'll be showing at the end of the session. Okay. There you can get the clear idea. Okay. This rectangular thing is there, right? This is system boundary, which will be differentiating between actors and the use cases. These are the primary actors, and the right side will be there, right? These are the secondary actors, and the oval shapes are there, right? These are the use cases. Okay. And between those use cases, supporting and essential use cases, you will be giving those relationships like include, extend, and generalization. Okay. You need to know about each of the thing. Okay. So here you will be drawing a use case diagram in this 10th question. Okay. So in the 11th question, you will be writing whatever the use cases that you will be creating, right? For that, all the use cases, you need to write those use case specifications. Okay. So use case specifications is nothing but whatever the description that you will be writing, you will be maintaining in a document called as this use case specification. For example, if you take for sample purpose, I've created this use case specification document. Okay, this for this in this use case specification document, you need to include like what is this use case name, about description about that use case, and who are included, like who are the actors that are included, what are the preconditions in the sense, in order to achieve this use case, what are the conditions that are needed to be met before. Okay, and post condition, for example, to after completing of this particular use case, what are the conditions that should be met. Okay, for example, if you take any login process, okay, so that login can be one use case. So actors involved are like user and the admin will be involved, right? You can mention them and description about write about this login. And in other preconditions, in order to log in, the user must register himself, right? That can be considered as a precondition. And post condition can be like after login, he can be able to browse those products, right? So successfully you can able to see the dashboard. That can be one post condition. Okay. So similarly for all the use cases that you have maintained or drawn in the use case diagram, you need to write all these, include all these features or components in the use case specification document. Okay. And normal flow is nothing but what is the series of steps that you are going to do in order to achieve this functionality. Okay. For example, to book an appointment with a fashion designer, these are the series of steps that you will be doing. Like an appointment page will be appeared where you will be booking an appointment. Then your users logs in and create click on the appointment. Okay, so basically, what are the series of steps that you will be doing? Those all things will be coming under this normal flow. Okay, alternate flow is nothing but if at all the basic flow is not uh, achieved or not there, then you will be creating an alternate flow. There you will be showing in another way in order to achieve the functionality. Okay, and similarly, you need to write for the use cases that you have prepared. Okay, for all the use cases you need to write. Okay, so in this you need to write 5 use case specifications. Okay, whatever the number that is there in your question paper, you need to create those or how those many use case specifications document. Okay, you can also use this template or else you can just include them main things also you can include them. Okay, clear, right? So and the next question is about you need to prepare 5 activity diagrams. Okay, so here you need to know a few important things like, so activity diagrams can be multiple activity diagrams can be drawn. For each activity you can draw one diagram, whereas this use case diagram only for the overall project only one use case diagram will be there, whereas activity diagram there can be many. Okay, so activity diagram is like it shows the interaction where the system is involved. Okay, so when the system is involved, what are the activities that are going to happen? Those will be representing in this activity diagram. Okay, it is also like a visual representation. Okay, so here also there will be some components that you will be using like start node, end node, and activity action states, and connector, decision box, branch and merge, fork and join. These are some of the components that we'll be using. Once you go through this YouTube session about this MS Visio, there they have deeply discussed all these components and shown you how you need to draw this activity diagram and use case diagram. Okay. So this is an example of particular my case study. Okay. So similarly, you need to this is a start node, this is a end node, these are the action states, and these are the conditions or the decision box that you'll be using where you can give a condition or split the flow based on the condition. And the entire thing this is there, right? So the entire thing will be coming under this branch and merge. You need to know the difference between branch and merge and fork and join. Okay, so to use those components, first you need to have a knowledge on those components, right? So first know about this components, then you can draw the diagram. Okay, So as a hint, you need to prepare 5 activity diagrams, right? So you can take this hint, like for user registration, you can draw one activity, search one. For cart, adding those products to the cart, you can draw one. And for making the payment, you can draw one activity diagram, and for delivery one. Okay. So this is a hint that has been already given. For 5 activities, you can draw 5 activity diagrams. Okay. So similarly, first thing you need to do is once go through the MSC session, then you will be getting a clear idea. Okay. So these are the things that you will be doing in this question number 12 also. Okay. So these are the 12 questions that you need to draw or write in this prep 1 part 2 session. Okay. So to these are when you come to this particular case study, this activity diagram, use case diagram, illustration techniques, etc. are there, right? So you need to first understand those concepts, then you can able to create it. Okay. Okay. So this is all about this prep 1 part 1. Okay. Prep 1 part 1 is all about this. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. Okay.